Hello traders, Gary Wagner for Trending Markets, July 27th. It is Monday, about 10:15 in Honolulu, 4:15 in New York. We do have the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The entire equities markets as a whole lower today, under pressure in sympathy for a dramatic sell-off which occurred over in China. I believe that their market came down about 8.5%. Tremendous drop in the market. Of course, when we look at our markets, we are off roughly 0.75% on the day. 17,440 on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Take a look at a short-term chart. This chart is in Japanese average format. It is a chart that's only 480 minutes, so it is an intraday chart. And what we can see when we look at this is something that really sticks out at me, and that is we've had this cascading downward channel pretty much in play. When we take a look at this market, over the last couple of months, we've had these couple of tops, but we've seen a series of, these are equal, or actually a slightly lower top here, almost equal double tops here. But the key is that it's really traded within this channel. So you take a look at the market, it hits the lows, hits the highs, hits the lows, hits the highs. We've now hit the lows. So if I was to bet on what we would see over this next week, I would expect it to move back up through the channel. Even doing that, it's going to make a lower high if it stays within that channel. But we've not really seen it breach, except for this one instance here. We've not really seen it breach that particular price point, and I find that kind of interesting. We are in one particular position right now. We'll get to that in a second, and that is we're short the crude market. But I want to take a look at the dollar and the euro. We're still in that counter trend phase in both of those currencies, because what we're seeing is downside pressure on the dollar. Dollar currently trading off about 0.75% also, but below 97, 96.56. You can see that on this daily chart, a pretty strong, dramatic fall out of bed, so to speak, for the dollar. And when we look at the corresponding euro, that's trading back up at about 110 now, almost 111 at 110.94, and that's up over a full percent. So you've got a tremendous move to the upside in the euro, pretty strong downside in the dollar. Of course, we've been flat that market, and our sense with that market is we want to see it return to the primary trend. Our belief, our take right now is that what we're witnessing both in the euro as well as the dollar is really a counter trend to the overall trend. The overall trend with the dollar is higher, US dollar and euro is lower. To crude, as we look at crude, we are short crude, and luckily we've seen it continue to fall, actually off about 2% today, 2.2%, dropping almost a little over $1 a barrel, now trading at roughly at 47.07. Now, in terms of the highs and lows, we've got a really loose stop, and that stop is something that we're definitely going to want to go in and adjust in a few days. But to take a look at the highs and lows, the high has been about 48.20, the low has been about 47.05, and you can see it's trading just off of these lows at 47.08. So my recommendation is, obviously we want to maintain our short position in crude oil, but we do want to probably move our stops down. My recommendation in terms of moving our stops down is, my suggestion is, we want to take a look at the most recent highs over the last week and adjust our stops accordingly. So let's go ahead and pull a daily chart up so we can go ahead and adjust our stops. And traders, you can see I've done just that. And when we take a look at the most recent activity, we've got a high here of about 50.89, a high here of about 49.66. Our stop is currently at 53. I'm going to suggest that you move your stop to just above $50 per barrel. You can actually even move it to 49.75. That's 49.75 on a stop, and that's going to really protect equity in the market because we are in above that particular price point. And the reason that I am selecting that particular point is I typically like to take a look at the highs over the last 3 days, and then really if we're short a market, we want to move our stop at or above the highest high over the last 3 days. This market's come down for 3 days, so traders, go ahead, move your stop to just above $49.75. This has been Gary Wagner wishing you, as always, good trading, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for another Trending Markets. Bye-bye.